everybody. Welcome to Wildflower Wool's brand new episode of New Start Monday Nights. Welcome back to those of you that come and join me every Monday night. And for those of you who are just finding me for the first time, welcome. I am here live every Monday night and we're talking about a new cast on. I kind of go back through the last couple of weeks and update you on the new starts that I've had over the last few weeks. It's always a new project every Monday. Sometimes it's yarn from my stash. Sometimes I do a little bit of yarn shopping. So far all of this year, we're in the 4th week of January, it is stash yarn, all stash yarn, which is not to say that I have not bought yarn. I just haven't knit with it yet. Anyways, this week's poll was a nail biter. So for all of you guys who are new, every Monday you can go check out Wildflower Wool on Facebook and Instagram stories and the feed post, and you can vote on either yarn or a project, whatever I put up, and I need some help deciding on what this week's new project is going to be. And you can vote. This was so close, you guys. I pulled out yarn from my stash. I'm going to knit a hat this week. Oh shoot, I went to bring up my laptop and I forgot. Okay, so the hat pattern I'm doing is and I know I'm not going to say this right, oh my god, okay, and even if I had wrote it down, it wouldn't help me. Tentacula. It is that hat that is named after a magical plant in the Harry Potter movies, and I only know that because some lovely viewer left me a comment after I was going on and on about, well, what is this word? Like, it had to be named after something, right? Because it's such an unusual term. And I've watched the Harry Potter movies, but I don't know, that didn't stick in my head. So now I'm kind of curious to see which movie was the plant in a movie. Was it, I don't know. Now I'm kind of curious to research it a little bit more. Have you guys seen that pattern? The only reason I know about this pattern is one of the Fiber Friends winners from our December ornament challenge. She won one of the pattern prizes, and that's what she asked me for, was this Tentacula hat. I went to Ravelry so I could gift it to her, and I saw the picture and I was like, what is this? This is incredible. And then right around the same time, I think there was an Instagram reel going around showing the stitch pattern. And you knit across, and then you're knitting kind of 3 or 4 stitches all down below and pulling up loops and putting them on your needle. And it looks really fun. And I was like, I have to knit that. So I picked a hat. So these are the 4 yarns that you guys were voting on. I picked a hat because there was still one more week in the Fiber Friends hat knitting challenge for the month of January. And I thought, well, I mean, not that I'm eligible for any prizes, but I thought I wanted to get some more hats done. I'm kind of on a hat knitting roll, so I thought this would be perfect. I want to try this stitch. I can add it to my total for the Fiber Friends podcast hat knitting challenge. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So next week, whatever yarn I knit it with, we'll be able to talk about the stitch pattern, and I'll give you my pros and cons. We can talk about how it was done. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, yarn from my stash. Can you tell this is stash yarn? I pulled it off my shelf and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed to take a picture of this. What in the world happened to this? I don't know if I've started using this. The black isn't as bad, but it's still, I don't know if maybe I can blame it on the cat. Maybe Daisy pulled it off and decided to play with it. I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't tangle when I knit with it. But options. And I know these are not the same yarns, right? See, this is a Patons Canadiana, which is 100% acrylic yarn, and a Decor, which I think is an 80-20, 80 acrylic, 20 wool. But I think this is still washable, so I thought, they could probably be close enough to go together. And black and white is a really stunning color combination. Then I went to my healthy stocked stash of Patton's Classic Wool and found these colors. I have a lot of this color. This is lemongrass, and I love this color because it is a nice greeny yellow. Somebody kind of called me out in the comments. They voted for black and white, and they're like, hey, that yellow looks an awful lot like lime green. And I answered them back, and I'm like, well, yeah, it is lemongrass. I said, it was just too long to type lemongrass. And I couldn't in the Instagram stories. When you do the poll, they only give you so many letters to put in, to pick, yes or no, or yellow or black, or, whatever the options are. You only get so many letters. And so I just went with yellow because I thought lemongrass I'm going to run out of room. But you're right. It is not a true yellow. It's lemongrass. It's lemongrass. So anyways, I did gray and lemongrass together and black and white. And this was close. This was really, really close. I had to count. I counted every vote on Facebook, Instagram, stories, feed posts, and it came down to one vote. And I waited an extra couple of minutes, and at 3 minutes to 8, I went back onto Instagram stories to see what had happened there, and there had been 2 or 3 more votes for the one colorway that was ahead by 1. So it snuck ahead by a couple of votes right at the end. So this is where we need to pretend we have a drum roll. Gray and lemongrass, black and white. I mean, both would be really pretty for a color work hat, but tonight's cast on, the winner is gray and lemongrass. So black and white, it came out in Facebook. Everybody was asking for it. Well, not everybody, but like most people were asking for black and white in Facebook, and that's what really pulled it really close. So you guys who are voting on Facebook, you did your team black and white proud. So lemongrass. Oh, Jocelyn, is that what you picked? So I should say hello to everybody who's coming in the comments. I've seen you guys are all just chatting away, which is wonderful. I will come back and I will look at comments in a little bit. So this is it. This is it. So I'm going to make the hat, the main color gray, and then these kind of loopy, I'm going to almost say, a swirl is coming to my mind, but it's not swirls, but they're elongated, angled stitches. They're going to be the lemongrass. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun. I can't wait to try something new. The pattern, I have to say I'll have to tell you a little bit more about the pattern because I haven't printed it off or anything. I purchased the pattern and I looked through it, and she's got lots of info in there, and apparently there are some video links. I have yarn fuzz stuck to lip gloss. Anyways, there's video tutorials on how to do the stitch. She gives you multiple sizes. There was worsted weight, there was Aran, there was bulky, and I think there was even, I'm sure there was a super bulky. So there was at least 4 pattern sizes in there. She has pictures with diagrams. I just scrolled through it. It was a seven pages worth of pattern. So it looks like she's done a really good job writing it out, giving lots of information. So I will report back after I cast this on tonight, and fingers crossed, maybe have a finished hat, or at least it will be partway started and we can chat about the technique. I have a little bit of update on a couple of projects. Which one will we start with? The garter stitch ear flap hat. Let's talk about that. This technically was not a New Start Monday project. It was a project I cast on for our guild project. Remember last week I had 2 finishes? I am still basking in the glow of 2 finishes, you guys. So this was one of the finishes, this garter ear flap hat. I have been wearing it. I had kind of thought maybe I would gift these, but I don't know. I've worn it more than once, so I'm kind of thinking maybe it's now mine, which is not a bad thing because I like it. Did I wear it for you guys last time? I don't know. I'll put it on. It's, I like it. I really like it. It keeps your ears warm. I liked it. I liked it so much that I cast on another one. I initially thought this one was a little bit big because when you look at it, did you guys have that first impression when I held it up? Did you think, oh, that does look a little big? That's what I did. When I looked at it, I thought, it just looks a bit big. But wearing it, it actually feels good. And I've worn it at least 3 times, I think. I mean, probably at least. I was going to say, it doesn't matter. I mean, wearing it still counts if you wear it inside, right? I mean, you don't have to actually be outside in the cold to count as an official wear, right? I wore it while Cheryl and I were podcasting. I've worn it out at least once or twice, so I have worn it a few times. I wondered if the garter stitch would stretch, because you all know garter stitch is fairly stretchy, and it hasn't. It doesn't. I did wear it out for a nice walk yesterday when it was freezing cold, and it was nice. My ears were nice and warm. I didn't have to, tug it down. You know how sometimes you get always like kind of pulling it to keep your ears warm? Did not have that problem at all. It didn't fall down. I didn't feel like I had to keep, kind of pushing it up or anything. It actually was really nice. Which leads me to the one that I cast on. I grabbed another ball of classic wool. I don't think I had this cast on Monday when we were chatting last. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go down a needle size. So I did, and I have a needle sizer. I'm not entirely sure. I think I was going for a 4.5. But actually it's a 4. It's a 4 millimeter. So I went down a bit because I'm sure this was a 5. Now we'll see. Oh, Tanya's got your cooties. Now I have to keep it. I know. I know. I think I will because I think I like it. This may be the one I give away because it may end up being a little bit too small. Because in my thought process, right, I thought this looked a little big, go down a needle size or 2 in this case, cast on the same amount of stitches, follow the pattern. I'll get a smaller, denser knit fabric that I assumed was going to fit better. Now I'm thinking this might be a little too small. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, but knitting's pretty stretchy and garter's pretty stretchy, so there's probably some leeway in here. The exciting thing, though, there's 2 exciting things. Okay. I'm still having trouble. That's it. No more lipstick next week, you guys. I'm getting little bits of wool stuck. I try to look all fancy for you, and this is what I get. Anyways, this hat. So 2 exciting things about this hat. The first is I'm having a much easier time knitting this. I think I told you my whole troubles with this one, right? The blue one. I started it 3 times. Those were all great practice goes because when I started working on this one, so much easier. So much easier. It makes total sense in my head now where the stitch markers are going, the stitch count. I could do the ear flap without even having to count stitches. And the nice thing about doing short rows is how these ear flaps are done. When you're doing short rows and garter stitch, you are still wrapping and turning so that when you're wrapping the stitch, you're slipping back and forth. The wrap fills in that gap. When you're turning, it leaves a little, like a stair step kind of hole. That wrap fills in that gap. But when you knit back, you don't have to bother picking up the wrap and knitting it together. Just having it wrapped around the legs of that stitch is enough to hold it, you know, fill in that gap. Super, super slick. This would be the only way I would knit an ear flap hat from now on. I was actually going through some old patterns this weekend. I found one of those tear off ones that come with yarn, you know, that you find at Michael's, or Joann's probably has them too. And it was an ear flap hat. And I looked at it, and the very first thing was cast on 5 stitches and you made the ear flap. And I think, if I think back years ago, I'm sure I did that. You knit, and then you, I don't know, knit the other one, and then you join or somehow. And I'm thinking, nope, no. Too fiddly, too fiddly. This is definitely how I will go from now on to do ear flap hats. So I just put that pattern right in the donate pile. I thought, nope, I'm not doing that. This is my way. So super simple. Love it. The other thing I did on this hat, which I am really, really enjoying. I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to have flat hair now. But this pattern, see that really nice, clear, defined faux seam? This was done in the round and garter, which meant I had to knit around, then purl around. So this is just the line you get when you switch. You ended your last stitch with a knit, then you started with a purl, then you end next round with a purl, and you start with a knit, and it just gives you this nice little seam up the back. Okay, I'm gonna put my hat back on now. Which works really well, because then you can find the back of it really easy. So this one here, I decided, instead of going back and forth, or like going in the round, knit around, purl around, somebody had said they had seen, of course, somebody out there had done this hat or something similar, and they had knit the whole thing as a short row. So you could just knit all the way around. And I want to give that a try. I want to see, because I was having some trouble remembering. My hands I'd be knitting, I'd be purling. It just took a little more concentration that I was wanting for a garter stitch project. So this I did all in knit, and I did short rows at the back. And guys, it works so slick. Have any of you tried this before? Maybe I am just late to the party here. I'd never really thought about finding an alternative. Typically I don't mind purling, so if I have to do garter in the round, I really don't mind. But for some reason, this hat was just giving me, I don't know, it didn't seem very intuitive. I had to think more than I wanted to for a garter stitch project. So this I find so much simpler, and this is the kind of seam it gives you. This is where the short rows are. So you can still see where there is a bit of a look of a seam. It's not as clearly defined and quite as neat. So what I am doing is I am knitting all the way around. I've got my beginning of round marker on here. So I'm knitting all the way around. When I get to the very last stitch, I knit it. So I knit right to the marker. Then I'm taking the marker off. Just take it right off the needle, and then the first stitch on the left hand needle, the first stitch past the marker, I wrap and turn that. So I slip the stitch, then I wrap it, I slide it back, turn my work around, put the marker back, so the marker always stays in the same spot. Even though I'm slipping a stitch on either side of it, the marker still always stays in the same spot, and then I knit back. So it works out every other round, that very last stitch on either side of the marker. Every other round you're slipping it, the next round you knit it. And the same on the other side. One round that end stitch gets slipped, the next round it gets knit. So you're always working your way up at the back, so it still stays the same length, and you don't have to purl. It is like a game changer again. find it much easier. I wasn't sure what I would find harder, remembering to do my wraps and turns when I got to the end, or knitting it this way and just not worrying about wraps and turns and doing short rows and just remembering to do a round a knit, around a purl. This one gets my vote, you guys. Just knitting. It fills that need. To me, when I think of garter stitch, I think of mindless knitting. Put something on Netflix. I can actually watch what's on Netflix, and I can just knit without thinking. I just let my hands go on autopilot. This one, my brain just didn't wrap around for whatever reason. And at our last guild meeting, our Zoom guild meeting, 2 of the ladies in our guild had also knit this hat, and both of them found the same thing. They said you had to really pay attention, you had to watch, you had to, so I thought, okay, it's not just me. Made me feel a little bit better the amount of times that I kept messing this one up. So anyway, overall, I would highly suggest this pattern. If you like this kind of look. Now, the top, this here isn't quite the way the pattern calls for it. I don't think it's supposed to have a slouch to it. But because I was using a bigger needle size than I probably should have, my row gauge was off a bit. So it was getting a little bit long. So this one here, my row gauge should be a lot shorter because I've gone down 2 needle sizes. And I'm going to work the decreases the way the pattern calls for. So hopefully next week we can compare the top of the hats and see. But I like this. Even though I had some difficulties keeping this guy going, I would still recommend this, and just know that, yeah, maybe you just need to pay a little bit of attention, but it's been fun. It has been really fun, and I'm definitely going to knit more of them because I do think I'm going to put a bunch of them in the Christmas box and donation box, and just gift them because I really am enjoying wearing it. So that is that. So this has really been, worked on this hat, and I also worked on last week's New Start. I worked on it a lot. I worked on it a lot and don't have as much knitting to show for it for the amount of work because I was also designing it at the same time. So that took a little bit of playing around. I initially picked 3 stitch patterns that I wanted to do. And you know what I did? I just went to a couple of stitch books and I just randomly, like literally closed my eyes, flipped it, and I thought, okay, I'll stop here. Open the book, and I thought, okay, I'll pick one of these. I'll pick this, I picked this, and I picked this. And I thought, I will put them together. So that was fun. I had fun, and that gave me a good starting point. I decided what color I was going to start with for my first and second colors. And I started the first pattern. And then I always find once I have these ideas to start working from and building from, as I start knitting it, everything kind of shifts and until things kind of settle the way I want them to. I did a lot of pulling out. I pulled out a couple stitch patterns. I decided, I was going to invert them and knit them upside down, and then I was going to add things. And then as I was going around, I decided that I actually wasn't going to use all of the colors. Remember these minis? This is what they looked like from last week. This is one I haven't wound yet. This is Sea Glass. These are all mini skeins from Leading Men Fiber Arts. And it says they're called Showstopper Mini Skeins. They're 20 grams fingering weight, and they're 75.25. Superwash merino. Oh, superwash merino. That's why it feels so nice. 20 and 25 nylon. So this was seaweed. I don't know if I'm going to remember all the names. This was something about trees. Shadow in the trees, something like that. Oh, I can't remember all of them. Sorry, you guys. I feel like this is right on the tip of my tongue, and I don't know as I have my ball bands up here. Well, that's all right. We'll carry on. There was also this alien. This was an alien invasion or something like that. There was a pretty orange, and okay, we'll go back to this seaweed. So these were the colors. So I had 5 colors. There, I think you can see them all there. This is what I started with. What I ended up doing, I started with this as my main color. I started with orange. Then I decided that these 2 colors, they look nice together, like if you were going to do a fade or a gradient or something, but to do stranded work, there was not enough color difference. When I knit them together, it just really just blended in. There wasn't enough, so I decided not to use this one in this project. And I also did the same with this. I didn't even try knitting with this because I knew these 2 together, it wasn't gonna pop enough for what I wanted. I had initially thought that my background color was maybe going to switch, so if I had done something like that, you know, it would have worked. But when I decided to keep this as my main color, these 2 just didn't work. So they're wound up and they will be used for something else. So this ended up being a 3 color project. And I love it. I love it. You guys voted for a cowl last week. I think the choice was between a cowl and a hat, and you guys picked a cowl. So I will show it to you. Then finding off, oh, Sherry's helping somebody. See you guys are all, I saw Sam was in the comments, so hello to everybody who's popping in. So this is a cowl. Now I have a little bit of a concern that I'm hoping that's going to be the right size, but this is it. And I really, really like it. So there it is. There's the 3 colors. So the seaweed is the background color, and we've got the orange, and then the yellow is, it's a little diamond motif. But I am loving these colors. Absolutely loving them. It is a really fun knit. So I ended up just going with 2 stitch patterns. The 3rd one, I just decided to keep it simple. Keep it simple. And that's what the inside looks like. So I don't even, with these stitch patterns, it just worked out that I don't even have to catch anything. I think there was, no, there wasn't. On one of the stitch patterns I tried, there was one point, there was a 6 stitch where I was carrying it, but I ended up not going with that. So there's not even anything that I have to carry, which is kind of nice, which makes it even easier, right? I have been cutting my yarns. Every once in a while, I think I will just like carry them up, and then I totally forget. I get to the end of the round, and then I immediately go look at the chart on my phone, and then I'm thinking about what colors I need, which one I'm dropping, which one I'm starting with, whatever, and then I totally forget to carry up the colors. So I've just thought, no, I will just weave all of these in at the end. I'm binge watching Yellowstone right now, so that'll be a good time. Just put an episode on, grab my darning needle, and I will just weave them all in. But I am really, really liking this. Have to say, I really love these colors. Absolutely love them. And I think I'm going to be okay. At one point I did, when I got going here, I did slip but half my stitches onto an extra needle, And so I know it looks really tiny there, but they are squashed on a 16-inch needle, and it is wider than this. So I think it's going to be like that. So I'm pretty sure the size should be good. I'm just calling this kind of my gauge, my working gauge swatch, kind of my test protocol. So we'll see once I get it off the needle, if I need to, when I write the pattern up, add some more stitches, I might just do that. But anyways, I'm loving it, loving it. If I hadn't had to do, you know, all that playing around stuff at the beginning, which was kind of fun, it would have been finished, but it's not. So I have no finishes, which serves me right. I had 2 last week. So now it's like the knitting gods are evening out the scale. She had 2 last week. She gets none this week, but that's all right. Maybe next week I'll come back with a couple finishes or not. Who knows? We will see. So I don't have anything to update my whiteboard on, which means that I am still, my whiteboard is still sitting here. And okay, sorry, I just showed you the back. Oh, that's what I showed you. My little tally here was 0 for 2. So now I think I am on the, oh, look at this. You guys, I am falling down on my work here. Oh, I jiggled you. My apologies. Oh, I do have a pen. Maybe I need to do this while we're chatting to keep myself accountable. Oh, I know. Oh, Amber, Orange Crush. That is coming because the Fiber Friends, for you guys who don't know, if you don't watch us, Cheryl and I, over on the Fiber Friends podcast, we host monthly knitting challenges that are so much fun. And February is sweater month and March is around your neck. So you can pick cowl, scarf, shawl, whatever you want. If you want to lean towards still cold weather because it's March. March is that iffy one, right? The first couple of weeks of March are still wintry. The last couple are spring. So you can pick. I'm kind of thinking I may do a couple of cowls the beginning of March and hopefully maybe be able to wear them once or twice. And then towards the end of the month, move into something more springy. So we'll see. 6 and 4. Oh, sorry, Amber, I didn't see what that was. Oh, Jocelyn's saying Diana's going to do a sweater for the sweater challenge. That's exciting. Okay, so anyways, I was going back here. So this is the 4th Monday of the year. And I need to write down last week's was the cowl. So I'll write that down kind of and today's is that tenacula. I've always said I should never knit patterns that I cannot pronounce. I have the hardest time pronouncing things. This is terrible. So, anyways, I was going to get all fancy with my whiteboard here. I don't even think you guys can probably see that. But anyways, I've just wrote down the name. I just like cowl and whatever. I just want to be able to keep track of them. So I have here for January, oh, the very first week of January, I cast on those Fair Isle socks that were inspired by Cheryl's sock bag. Did not work on those. Okay, I got to get my act together on that. January 10th was the pink and gray hat with the chevrons, which I finished. Last week was the cowl, which it is about halfway finished. It is about 4.5 inches. And I'm going to go 8 or 9 inches. I think I don't want to make it too big. So it should be finished. And then this week's is the, can I just call it the Harry Potter hat? I don't know. Can I do that? Or is that going to be bad? I should just, tenacula. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Anyways, it's like a tongue twister for me. So that is this week's cast on. So out of 4 projects, I have 1 done. So I'm going to update my running total here. I guess I should have had a new sticky. Oh well, I don't. So 1 out of 4. I will stick that on here. So at least I know where I am. And maybe this will give me a little bit of a boost because I don't like that number. 1 out of 4. Because, and these hats don't count, which is kind of, maybe I need to add those in there, extra projects. We'll see. Anyways, hopefully this week I can get a little bit caught up with the cowl and this new hat. So that makes me feel a little bit better though. I've kind of got my whiteboard still organized, and that's still going to keep me on track. Oh boy. Okay, so that is really all of my knitting. So now I'm going to be able to actually see some comments. I'll try to scroll back and see what you guys were all chatting about. I have a feeling there was some comments in here. Was Sam talking or asking some help with her hat? I know Sam's working on a hat, and she was able to, she got a 16-inch needle and got it joined in the round and was working the decreases. So that's pretty exciting to get that kind of figured out when you're new in the round knitter, right? It's always, it's a good sense of accomplishment, right? Anyways, look at this. I love this. I could probably get more knitting done on it if I just stopped staring at it. But I always like doing the math, and it takes me about 7 minutes to do a round. So it doesn't take too long. Oh, Amber's saying, add those hats in your total. You started them and finished them so far. Yes, I think I will. I'll have to add to my sticky notes somewhere. You're right. I have to add in my guild projects. My guild February project is brioche. So you guys will see a little bit of brioche. And then February is Jocelyn and I's 2-week sweater challenge. For anybody who is new tonight, if you want to join in sweater knitting, let me give you a little lowdown on sweater knitting. You've got 2 options. The Fiber Friends, the whole month of February, which is the 1st to the 28th. I got a little confused a Friday night. I got a glimmer of hope. Somebody said something about a leap year, and I'm like, is it a leap year? Did I not know that? Apparently it's not, but I thought we were going to have an extra day in there. But we have 28 days. Fiber Friends, you can start, which means really anytime you can start getting your yarn, your pattern, you can swatch, you can, get ready to start. And start February 1st and go right through to the 28th. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, Jocelyn and I are repeating our 2-week sweater knitting challenge this year, in February. We're starting Thursday, February 10th, and we're going to Thursday, February 24th. So that's our 14 days to do a bulky sweater. We're doing it I'm doing it bulky. I think Jocelyn, I don't know, Jocelyn, are you doing using bulky yarn, or are you going to a worsted? Last year you had to, because of your gauge, you had to go down a, Suzanne is telling me it's not a leap year. I know, I don't know, somehow, yes, Jocelyn had to go down to a worsted to get gauge. I know, somehow Friday night when I was doing the live in the Fiber Friends, somebody said something about it being a leap year, and then I just got totally all confused. But it is not a leap year, so we do not have an extra day. We have 28 days, which is still lots of time, because let me tell you guys, last year I knit a sweater in bulky weight yarn, I think on a size 6mm needle. I got it done in 2 weeks with time to spare. I did. So really, that is opening the door wide for everybody out there to get a sweater done. And so even if you don't think you can do it within the 2 weeks, try it within a month. And you know what? And like I've said over and over again, it's not a race, and it's not, nobody loses out of this, right? If you don't get your sweater done in 2 weeks, or if you don't get it done in the whole month, at least you've got it started and you've had fun knitting it, right? But it can be done. It can be done. And how about 2 years? What is that, Anne? Oh, 2 years? To knit a sweater, Anne? Well, but see, I think that is what happens though. I think people, when they think sweater, it's like a switch goes off in their head and it's like, whoa, big project. A lot of balls of yarn, a lot of knitting. And then people think about gauge. They think about, oh, is it going to fit? What if it doesn't fit? Does it, button bands, zippers, buttonholes, shaping for the arms, the neck, the sleeves, all of that. And I think before we even start, we get ourselves, our mindset wrapped around the fact that this is going to be hard. It's going to take a long time. And then I think because we think it's hard and going to take a long time, it does take us a long time. And that's why, because I'm sure we all have don't talk to me about I have sweaters that I haven't finished either, right? Oh, Jen is saying sweater in 2 weeks is easy. Yes, Jen, I think to balance the scale, Jen, you maybe need to try it in a week because yeah, 2 weeks is not a challenge for you. You are so speedy, which is so amazing. Um, so, anyways, it can be done. And I think, yes, we just don't have to, I'm just reading some of the comments here. So, I know, I think that's the thing, right? We don't need to psych ourselves out and think that the sweater can't be done. Because it can, because I surprised myself. I did it last year and was totally shocked that I did it. Anyways, oh no, Jenna's saying she can make one in a week. See, I knew. That does not surprise me. Oh, Jen, you can make one in a week. Okay. So it's possible, but you know what? But don't be intimidated by that either. I mean, life does get in the way. If you've got other commitments, you've got children, you've got work, you've got whatever, right? But cast on with us because it's going to be fun, because you can't finish if you don't start, which is my whole premise around starting something new every Monday. It's going to be a lot of fun. I thought I had my yarn picked out for the sweater, and then I kind of looked at the amount and the yardage I had, and then I wasn't sure. But a couple of people left comments on the Fiber Friends podcast saying I should really go into Ravelry and check my yardage because they thought that there was a lot of options that might work. Somebody else suggested a shrug, which I really like that idea. So I think before I can see the yarn. It's on the shelf on the other side of the room because I had put it back on the shelf because I thought, oh darn, I don't have enough. Okay, move on, find something else. But now a couple of people have given me a glimmer of hope that maybe I can actually knit it out of my stash. You guys, I am getting some holes in my stash not behind me, but on the other side of the wall or of the camera. The other walls in here, I'm kind of working through my stash a little bit, which is kind of exciting because I've just ordered a whole bunch more yarn, so I'm gonna have to have a spot to put it. So it's not like I'm gonna have empty spaces. I'm just creating room for new stuff. Natalie, will I wear a shrug? I think so, because I know I had thought, well, I could make a vest. And immediately, as soon as I say I can make a vest, I'm like, have you guys ever seen me wear a vest? I wear a cardigan every day, until it gets too hot. But I wear a cardigan. I never wear a vest because I know I shouldn't even say this because this opens up a whole new can of worms, right? But it's that same thing as fingerless gloves. If I want to wear something, I want to be warm. I want a full mitten. If I want to wear a vest, like a sweater, I don't want to wear a vest because then my arms will be cold. Like, I don't, maybe that's just me and my body. It's like, I don't want to wear these half things. I want a sweater, right? Yeah, I don't wear vests, so I shouldn't even entertain the idea of knitting one. I don't know, maybe if I found one that was a nice style, I don't know. Forget the vest. But I think a shrug. I think I would wear a shrug because it's like a cardigan, right? Like it's still open, but it's a sweater. I think I would. I would be tempted to try it and wear it and see what I mean, I guess I had a shrug, but it was tiny years ago, and it was, oh, well, okay, not quite that tiny, but it was very shallow. Like it wasn't really deep. Like it just kind of came under your shoulders. I would definitely want, you know, some length here, so it would cover my whole back for sure if I was doing a shrug. Fingerless mitts is not what Jocelyn's whip. I know, and you know what? I want Jocelyn to get those fingerless mittens done. Jocelyn, I hope you're knitting on them because I just want them to get done and be not a whip anymore. And plus, if you're going to have fingerless mitts, right? I know some people love them, and I know certain environments or whatever you're wearing, they work well for what you're doing, right? And so I figure because we are getting hopefully on the downward side of winter here soon, right? That would be the time for fingerless gloves. So if Jocelyn's knitting them, then hopefully she can wear them in another month or two or something. You know, when it gets a little bit warmer, then it'll be the time for them, right? But anyways, yeah, brioche and sweaters. And Jocelyn and I also said we were going to do the Turkish bed socks in February as our little kind of portable project while we're working on sweaters. Okay, what's Jocelyn? You're not working on them? Oh, right this second. Okay. But yes, they are one of your 3 goals, which means I can read through the lines there, Jocelyn, because I'm the same way. Jocelyn and I think a lot alike, which is very scary, which means that they are sitting out. They're probably did not get put back on her shelf. They're sitting out in eyesight, but has not worked on them yet. Because why would we? Because we still have a week. This coming weekend, you can both picture Jocelyn and I hunkered down in the house, working like crazy on our whip projects, because that is what we do. Turkish bed socks and 2 sweaters are your plans next week. There you go. Yeah. So Sam, you're thinking about knitting this hat. Oh, no, confusing and frustrating. Well, you know, there's a good borderline. You want to push yourself to learn something, but if it is too frustrating, then move on to something else. You always want your knitting to be fun and not be stressful. Oh, Nellie's saying add a color or do a stripe. So that is that from to make my yarn go farther? I could. Oh yes, my yes, it's yeah, from South America. I don't think I have enough of that because it is a really bulky. I don't. I have plans for that though for March for the around your neck. I don't think I have enough for an actual sweater, but I think it would make a really nice wrap. So that's what is going to, that's what's going to happen with that. That's the plan anyways. Yes. Or cheer people on, Amber's saying. Yes, for the sweater challenge. Exactly. Because I don't think, Amber, I don't think you're going to take part in the sweater challenge. Maybe you want to do Turkish bed socks, though. Yeah, and you know what? And that's something, too, right? Is sweaters isn't everybody's thing either, so you don't have to. Yeah, we'll never, ever make anybody. I do like to encourage people to try, but I don't ever want to make anybody feel like they need to, or, you know. The rules are pretty loose around here. Everybody can work on whatever you want to, right? Oh, Natalie, you're on call, so your time is kind of cut into, huh? Yeah, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Work. Work does get in the way of some of our fun stuff, doesn't it? Unfortunately. Yeah, I knew what you meant. I was going to say, Jocelyn, are you trying to start your sweater early? But I knew what you meant. Next month. But I mean, next month is almost next week. It's kind of crazy how fast January has gone. Um, oh, no, I have not got the Amber. Have I got the pattern yet? No. That's for February. This is still January. No, I haven't got it yet. I have not, but I will soon. Power crafting. I know that's right. I work so much better with a deadline. If I don't have a deadline, I just still always think I have all the time in the world. I don't know. It just doesn't work too well for me that way. Oh, Jocelyn, you're looking around guiltily spotting your check-in projects. No idea what you're talking about. I know. See, we're totally the same. I know. Ask me if I've started my crochet project. We have lots of time. Lots of time. Oh, Jocelyn, you haven't bought it yet. See, Jocelyn, I don't know. The two of us together is maybe not a good combination. I don't know. Oh, okay. So Amber, you've got a test knit for the Little Red Mitten. Nice. Those are always fun. Hi, Nikki. Oh, you think Andrea Mowry has a sweater called Oxford or Oxbow? Okay, where did I? Oh. All right, I gotta scroll back. Okay. They make him bulky. Oh, and it uses big stripes. Oh, so I could use a contrast color. I could do that then, right? Oh, Cape Sound. Yeah, it's Jocelyn. Alliance for the win. That's right. Oh, well, Sam, just do the best you can. I think you've picked up drop stitches. Or has it just been a while since you've had to do one? Yes, I'm going to do one of my gauge to garment sweaters. So I'm not, so yeah, I'll have to figure out my yarn. I think I will. I think I'm going to go back to that orange, that burnt orange yarn. Because I would like to knit it out of my stash. So I will see what I can do. My Christmas socks. I know. I have a feeling, yeah, I'm not going to plan anything for this coming weekend. It is, it's going to be a knitting weekend. Maybe it'll be snowy and it'll just make me want to stay in and knit. Sam, I'm glad everybody's given you lots of tips for your hat. I know. I can't wait for Jocelyn. Yes. If you come out here for a trip, we will, oh my gosh, we will have so much fun. Oh, hi, Alice. Easy mosaic socks for you tonight. That's fantastic. That's fun. Don't touch the buttons. I know, right? I don't know what it did when it went all goofy there. Burnt orange with a chocolate brown or creamy white stripe. Ooh, yeah, chocolate brown. It's sitting beside the white. There's a ball of white on the shelf. It wouldn't be bad. There's a chocolate brown. Chocolate brown would look nice. Oh, possibilities. I think I will have to spend a little bit of time the next few nights just kind of searching through Ravelry and yeah, just kind of putting in my yardage, seeing what pops up, seeing what there is, seeing and so not like Natalie said us, I won't pick one of the patterns, but even just to get an idea of what people have made for patterns, see the length of the sweater, like if it has a bell sleeve or not, like just to see kind of what the sweaters they have knit out of that yardage. Then I'll have an idea of what I can do. If I may need to put something in there, or do the cuffs and ribbing a different color. We'll just kind of play around and see what happens. Oh, Alice is just starting the heel flap. That's exciting. That's really exciting. Hey, Lynn, how are you? Oh, you're a barley light hat. Nice. Oh, you're using your hand-dyed fiber? So you dyed it and oh, hand-dyed fiber. Okay, so maybe you didn't dye it. Did you buy it hand-dyed and then you spun it? Loving it. Oh, wow. Oh, I know. Lynn, let me tell you. can't count and listen at the same time. Story of my life. Story of my life. I totally get that. Yes. So then you head out, and because we don't want you to have to pull it back. Oh, Jason's got online learning for the rest of the week. Oh, wow. That sounds exciting. Striped sweaters. Striped sweaters do always look nice. Hi, Sherry. You've got a pattern. Oh, you've got a sweater. Oh, no. Not the pink or the green ones. Okay. Oh, so you've got another sweater on the, so you have 3 sweaters on the needles and a hat. So I cast on another hat. Well, of course you do. I feel like I should start another sweater. You're not going to get any arguments here. Wait till February 1st as Sherry and cast on the sweater. Oh, I know, Jocelyn. I know, just being, have been outside twice since Christmas. Oh, yikes. Yeah, that's tough. Oh, Lynn, you did diet as well. That is really satisfying. Oh, Natalie, you're still not feeling well? All right. Well, I hope that you start to feel better soon. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have been yattering on here for almost an hour. That's crazy. An hour goes by so quickly. So we have got, let's say we've got about 5 minutes or so left to chat. What else have you guys been knitting on? You guys may have said it earlier in the comments, but I didn't see all the first ones. So if you want to type it again, I'd love to know what you are knitting on. So, yeah, I know. It's never fun when you're not feeling well. That's just, and I know I use my knitting to gauge how well I'm feeling. If it's a dishcloth kind of day, then I'm not feeling that well, because, just it's a garter stitch kind of thing. And then, if I've had a couple of days where I'm under the weather, and when I wake up and the first thing I want to do is I want to start knitting, I'm like, yes, I'm feeling better. And I had a migraine almost every day last week. And I woke up today without one, and it was like, oh, I'm like, I wanted to do a little happy dance. I'm like, yes, no headache. Oh, like, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Sure, Sam. Yep. I can help you Thursday. If you want to set it aside and work on something else until then, or try it yourself. I mean, yeah, try. Just try. Good practice. Good practice. It's just all good practice. Susanna, what have, that's right, Susanna saying, and I have been talking for every minute of the hour. I know, isn't that kind of crazy? Never knew I could talk so much. Amber's working on the Lady Violet socks. Oh, I can't wait to see that yarn knit up, Amber. That was such pretty yarn. Amber and I did a purchase together. I think I only bought one skein of Bridgerton sock yarn. Amber bought a few of them. They were all such gorgeous colors from Area 51 yarns. Lovely, lovely. So I have got mine. I'll have to do a little look-see for mine. I know I just tucked it away because I was waiting until Bridgerton started again, which I think, if I remember correctly, is in March, which is not that far away. Cannot wait. So I will have that all wound up and ready to cast on. That will maybe be my March socks or April. I don't know, depending on whatever. When Bridgerton comes out, I'm going to knit that sock yarn while I'm watching. So I'm excited for that. You guys have got a lot of things you are working on. Alice, the Norwood sweater. Nice. I just feel like, I don't know. I think it's the winter, right? I think it's the cold. It's just, we're in the deep winter. Is that what I want to say? It feels cold and dull and dreary, and it just feels like sweater weather. Nikki, a sweater. Oh, for the podcast anniversary for, yes, Northern Knits. Yes, is running. Yes. So you're working on your sweater for there. Fun. Oh, Birch by Pam Allen. Lovely. Jocelyn, you're finishing. Oh, the Dylan Cowl right now. Oh, okay. Jocelyn, did I read that correctly? I'm going to savor this moment. It just needs pom-poms. That is something I did not think I would hear you say. You have a set of matching leg warmers, cowls, and fingerless mitts all crocheted. Okay, I want to see you model all of that. You're going to be so stylish. And I want a clear view with pom-poms. Oh, yeah. Oh, so Alice, you're swapping between the sweater and socks. Yes. I know. Autocorrect, right, Alice? I know, because Katie. Hi, Katie. How are you? Sorry you missed most of the chat. Oh, that's all right. It's, we're just here for whenever, for people who can just pop in whenever. So I hope you're having a great Monday, Katie. Jennifer. Oh, Jen. Oh, you have the birch sweater? Oh, and the festive sweater on the needles. Oh, so you have the birch sweater on the needles? When I first started reading that, I thought you meant you had knit it. Okay. Oh, and you got a new cross stitch that you started. Oh, that's fun. Hi, Nancy. Oh, it's a pattern from Twin Set and Pearls. Oh, Amber, nice. Amber, you have to make, a stuffy for the baby. You have been doing a lot of baby stuff, which has been really cute to see. This is going to be one very lucky baby. Oh, Sam, so the decreases are hurting your, well, then you know what? Just set it aside. Work on something that you know you can do. Well, guys, this has been fun. This has been a very quick hour, I have to say. So I am really looking forward to this week's project. I'm really, and all of my knitting, my cowl, which I've set down on the floor, I cannot wait to start, or to finish it. I am really loving. I think I could do every project in Fair Isle and I would be a happy, happy knitter. But I've got brioche projects next month. So I will probably, mark my words, in a couple of weeks, I'll have a really pretty brioche project on the needles and I'll be saying, I could just knit everything in brioche forever and ever. But color work is definitely one of my favorites. So these are the colors, gray and lemongrass. This is going to be fun. I think this is going to look like a cute hat, and maybe I will be modeling it next week. So everybody, thank you so much for coming and visiting. Hope everybody got a nice little chunk of knitting done while we were visiting. And we will be back here next Monday. Next Monday is the 31st. It'll be the last Monday of the month. So hopefully I have a couple more finishes so I can update my whiteboard. So fingers crossed. I'm going to keep that in the back of my head as I'm working on my knitting projects so I can get a few more things finished. So everybody, thank you so much for voting. Thank you for visiting, because it truly is a great way to start off a Monday with all of this fun. So happy knitting. Have a great knitting week, and I will see you back here next Monday. Have a great week. Only Monday. Let's get the weekend before we have a great weekend. Good night, everybody.